Hi, I'm Simon from Pearlywinks Craft Supplies, and today I'm going to be talking about our fantastic tool, the Stamper Ring. The Stamper Ring enables you to create perfect circles using your smaller stamps. You can use this in a press or without a press. So what's in the pack? So what is in your Stamper Ring pack? Inside the pack you get the main element, which enables you to stamp perfect circles onto a 5x5 card. You also get this piece here, which slots in there to enable you to work on a 4x4 inch piece of card. So if you're using a stamp press, these are the two that you would use. You can also use this piece without a stamp press. I will be going into that further along in this demo. So this can be used without a stamp press. This can also be used without a stamp press. So these two will allow you to work up to much bigger than a 5x5 card. It will allow you to work on 6x6 and 8x8 plus. Within your pack, you also get this shape. This is what we call the donut. What the donut does, it masks off certain areas within your project. When you've done your full turns and removed that, you will have a donut shaped area that hasn't been inked up that you can then pop your sentiment in. You also get your circle, which does the same sort of thing as this, but you'll end up with a circle in the center. Up here we've got a star, a hexagon and a square. They can also be used as masks. And then we've got this extra little stencil here, which can be used to stencil through, just to add a bit of difference to your project. All of these can be used to spray over the top, to stencil over the top, and you can run these through your die cutting machine as stencils as well. Now comes the fun part, how to use your stamper ring. First of all, you want to stick your stamper ring down in your platform. Don't need as many magnets as I've got here. I just like to be prepared, usually for when I'm using stencils and not the stamper ring, but they do come in handy for this as well. So first things first, I'm going to get a piece of 5x5 card. I'm going to line it up so it's directly facing me and it's a perfect square. I'm going to make sure we're in each of the corners, top and bottom. Once that's completed, I'm going to take a small stamp. The stamp that I'm using is from the Be Bold stamp set by Julie Stafford, which is one of our stamps. It's a lovely stamp set. Mine's a bit mucky, but we're not going to worry about that. So the first time I use this for this size stamp, I'm going to use the smallest dragonfly in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you every 2 turns using a larger one. So go ahead and pick up your stamp on your lid and ink it up. Drop down, slight press, 1 turn. You can turn this either way, clockwise or anti-clockwise. You just need to make sure that your card is in the corners corresponding to each other. And repeat this process all the way around. So if you've got a small stamp, you're going to do every single turn. Every single turn will mean you do 16 turns. If you've got a larger stamp, which I'm going to go into in a moment, depending on its size, it will be every 2 turns. By every 2 turns, what I mean is 1, 2. I'm going to demonstrate this in a short while, so I will show you that as well. Just continue this all the way around. You don't have to, with this, do a full circle you are able to just do a half circle if you wish. And now you can see that this is building up into a lovely shape. Once you've done it this way, what you can do is reposition your stamp. So if you wanted to put one here going down, you could do that. So you'd position it down and then the same sort of process starting again, pick it up and move it. You don't have to just do one stamp at a time. You can do 2 stamps as well or more. If you are doing more than 1 stamp, just bear in mind that it's always good to give it a run before you do it, a proper one, because what you might find is if you don't line everything up properly, i.e. your stamps, there could be some overlay, which is okay with some designs. However, not all designs will look right with an overlay on there. So again, I'm just turning it. And everything will be perfectly placed by the time I've got all the way around, and it will create a perfect ring. The last one. Oops. There we have a perfect ring. Now what you can do on there is you could pop a sentiment as well. So shall we go ahead and do that? I'm just going to pop that down there. I'm going to remove this stamp. I'm just going to give it a bit of a wipe. I love this sentiment. Be bold and spread your wings. I'm going to pick that up. I'm going to use a grey for this. Perfect. Then what I would do, I would finish that off by backing that particular one onto a piece of black card, like so, and then attaching that to a white card one. Really nice, really simple. You can finish the edges off as well. So that was just a quick demo of that one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a larger stamp. Just clean that one off, and I'm going to use the next stamp up in the dragonflies. So I'm going to get a new piece of card. Like so, and I'm going to pop it in my board here. Now the next thing I need to make sure I do correctly is position my next stamp. So again, I'm working with these 2 points here and making sure that the center of the stamp runs right up to the center of this point here. I'm going to pick up my card, well, my stamp, but also my card at the same time. And I'm going to do this one in orange. In fact, I'm going to do orange and pink. So my first print will be orange. because I'm doing a double colour, so my next one I'm going to be doing pink. As this is a double turn stamp because it's slightly larger, so that'd be 1, 2. I'm going to turn it another 2 so that I can get the next one here. 1, 2. The reason I'm doing it that way is because I do not have to then keep cleaning and switching between each ink pad. Again, as I'm turning 2, I'm going to pop this directly down here. If I was going to do each one in turn, what would happen is I would have to keep cleaning my ink pad between each stamp, which would take a lot more time. Stamp. Now I'm going to turn it twice because I want to infill that gap between the orange stamps. I'm going to clean my stamp. I only need to do it the once because I've already done all my orange bits. And I'm going to infill this with pink. Now I know this stamp is just big enough to do every second turn. I wouldn't go any bigger than that. So turn it twice, 1, 2. Now, if I was to stamp over that, I'm going to get my orange one. I only know that through practice and trial and error. So, like on the first one, I need to turn it 4 turns in total. So 1, 2. So now I'm using these 4 corners only. Before, when I started to do every second opposites, I was using these 4 corners. Now I'm using the other corners, which is enabling me to get my design in the corners of the page, not across from one another. If you're missing it, don't worry. You can go back in. Again, I'm going to use that part of the corner. And I'm just flipping that around. Like so. There we have a finished go on the stamp book. If you were doing it in just one colour, obviously that's going to be a lot quicker to do it in just one colour. And I'm going to pop on another sentiment. So I'm going to pop this back square as it was. I'm going to pop Be Your Own, kind of beautiful. Again, I'm going to use grey for this. I find that grey works so beautifully on sentiment. It's not in your face, and it keeps everything. It doesn't just say draw you straight into that. You take time to look at the image and then you look at the sentiment. Now I'm going to show you how to use the stampering freehand. By freehand, I mean you don't need to use a press with it. For that, I'm going to use these 2 parts. So it's really simple. I'm going to start off with the small stamp again, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Ink up your stamp, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use the corners or the points as a point of reference. For this particular one, I'm going to use the corners, the inner part. As I go around the stencil, I'm just turning my stamp ever so slightly just to follow on with that pattern. Now you can see I'm working on something that's a large piece of card. It's actually an A3 or almost A3 piece of mount board, so it's a lot bigger than the 5x5 square that I was working on earlier. The beauty of freehand is it allows you to create your project on any size that you want. Oops. Of course, when you do it, you're not going to have a camera in front, so you probably find it easier to align everything up. I'm working directly under the camera, so I'm trying my best not to get in the way. Oops. So I've moved that. Don't worry. I'm just going to pop that back in where it was, using these as a guide. And when I remove this, I've got a circle there by using that. I've not done it that many times, so it just shows how easy it is. I might have done it 10. I've not even done it 10 times, I'm lying. Might have done it about 4 or 5 times. I'm just wondering if by turning the stencil it would allow us to pop another one in. So it possibly would if we pop one there. So you don't just have to stop that. I mean, what you can do then is if you did want to do that sort of thing, you can then go in and use the point as a reference point as well. I'm not going to do it all the way around. I'm just showing you how it can be done, just to build up that pattern. Just turn this around a bit. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep it symmetrical to the point, so whichever way the point's pointing, I'm trying to turn the stamp so it matches and continues that point, and then it'll add to the effect. In fact, I'm almost all the way around, so I am going to continue this. Just turn my stamp again so it's easier to pick up and I'm not contortioning my hand in any way. So there's no exact science to this. So there you go. We've got 2 rows of that beautiful dragonfly there. Now I'm going to work on a bigger stamp. So that's this one again. I'm going to do this one in grey. So again, it's the same sort of process and same sort of lining up that we're doing. beautiful, beautiful set. So because we're doing this and we're going in on each one, we are stamping 16 times. I'm just trying not to knock the camera. Try to make sure that you keep the same gap between, otherwise it'll throw your circle off. I've not kept it exact, so it is going to throw me off. That one should have been pointing more that way. So I'm going to need to try and pull this back here in order to save it. Also, depending on the size of your stamp, will depend how far a gap you need to leave from here. Also, your size of your project as well. So that is my final one. Oops. It's not perfect by any means, especially down here, but that's allowed me to work on a much, much, much bigger scale. Now we're going to work with some of the extras, such as the donut. First of all, I'm going to ink up my brush, and then I'm just going to start on the edge of my donut. There's something already on my brush. I'm just going to work that out a little bit. Remember to always start on the donut, especially if it's a brand new or you've just inked it up, because what will happen is you'll end up with a big splodge. Right. So I've only got the outside there. I'm going to do exactly the same on the inside as well. I'm just going to line that back up. And then I'm going to pop on just from the centre. I'm going to start working out. That's my chair. I'm going to start working out as well. And that's why you always start on your donut, those two little patches there. If you wanted to go in with a different blue, you can do. Put that one back on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off this one. Like so. You can even go back in over your project. Just to add a little bit of background colour. Like so. And then we've got the mini things here. Again, starting off your stencil. We can always pop our star inside with the others. Oops. Really need to clean my brushes. So there we have all our different masks that can be used. Different ways of using them. You can even overlay them over the top. To create your own shape like so. So I hope you've enjoyed our tutorial using the Stampering. If you've enjoyed it, please give us a like or a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Please keep your eye out for future tutorials and I will speak to you all soon. Have a nice day. Bye bye.